Oh my goodness, family and peeps. I have no words because we found this spot, and let me just show you what we're looking at every day for the next 3 days unless we decide to stay longer. Right outside our trailer view is this right here. We're so excited.
Shakes for the memories.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
We just wrapped up 3 nights at Lindenwood State Park in Fargo. Got footage of us
Stepping in mud.
Yeah, we were covered in mud. I got mud all over the inside of my trailer.
It feels like it's farming territory, but if you're, like, I'm totally speaking out of my lack of knowledge here, but if you're thinking about going to Fargo to farm, you'll basically be farming mud.
Just our experience.
I
I'm
don't
sure
know.
it wasn't. We had a good time, went on some walks, got some shopping done. First time we've gone to Sam's since we left home, so that was kind of fun.
Is that really? Since April?
Since May 1st, yeah.
Wow. So like right now we just ran up, found a Sam's and stuff, did some shopping.
We enjoyed the park. It was a good park.
It was different stay for us because we've been staying in either Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, or resorts, like campgrounds. This was, I don't think it was a state park, but it was
a county park.
Yeah, or city park or something. And I always want to disclaim this. Like, we have compassion for people who are homeless, but it was a place where there appeared to be homeless people using it for homes. They didn't create any problems.
No, we were completely okay with that.
Yeah, it's a different experience. We were also facing the river where every night people would come and park their car there and fish out of the river. It was like families doing it. It didn't look like hobby fishing, catch and release. I think it was fishing for dinner. It was the sense of it. Just saying, that's a different experience than the other ones.
The park was kept up really nice.
It was.
Manicured, the lawns were mowed.
Yes, and the people who worked there were nice.
Very nice park.
Yeah. We would do it again. Just don't step in the mud. Awful.
Yeah.
And like last night it hailed and stuff, it rained, there was a storm, and inside was just a mess. Lots of mud.
Well, we had a good 3 nights, and now we're headed to a Harvest Host. We're going to a berry farm of some sort. We will keep you updated on that. And
It's not just sort of farm, it's berry farm.
it's berry.
If you're a trucker, if you're anyone and you pass someone pulling a fifth wheel or something, like if you want to communicate something, like don't honk your horn, honk, honk, and then do something with a hand and then move on without letting you know what it is. So we're on the road, a trucker came by and it wasn't like, bah, it was like honk, and then he did something with his fist like this and went on his way. Made me think, we had just left. Are we trailing something? Did we not close something? And I know that I went through and went around and checked everything. Our tires are good. Everything's closed. I know that. Unless I totally blanked it, I have visual memory of all that. The thing is pulling well. And so it caused the next 10 minutes of stress going, there's no place to pull over to see what's going on.
We were in the middle of Fargo. We couldn't pull over right then.
Right, and then we were in 1-lane construction traffic on 29 South, no place to pull over. And then I finally just said, I think he was maybe he saw what's on the back and he's like, I followed you. Honk. I followed you. And so if that's you right now, thank you for following. But also be more discreet in what you're doing.
Talk to you soon.
This is what we wake up to in South Dakota at Harvest Host. Wonderful hosts, Gary and Sandy. Incredible setup. This is one of those places where, man, I wish we could stay here for a week. But today we go to the wall. If I can get Francois to pee.
Good morning. We finished our night boondocking at Berry Aronia Farms in South Dakota. We had an absolutely beautiful setup here. There was one other family docking here too, but we were so far apart that it just felt like we were by ourselves, and the gracious hostess and host, we went out for dinner with them last night actually, and the other group that was here, and so we had just a really enjoyable time. We're getting ready to leave, and so I've got some of the slides in. Harvey's about ready, Chuck's ready, Francis is ready. This is over there is where the other campers were, which was clear across the parking lot, and our host's home, their little 28-acre farm here. It's pretty cool. Okay, friends and fam, we are so excited to be here at Dispersed Camping on the Wall, and we have the most spectacular spot. We are so excited about it that we cannot wait to share it with you, and our next 3 nights here dry camping. And yes, Francis wants attention, but we thought we would turn you around so you could see what our view is right outside our door. I am so excited. This is facing, I think it's facing the east, and so we will get sunrises in the morning, which means I actually have to get up, you know, out of bed.
We'll actually have our bedroom window
Open, yes.
Up, no one out.
Oh yeah.
No one will be able to see.
It is just, this is on my bucket list.
So now
to come here.
We're just hoping that the haze blows away.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the haze from the Canadian fires. I'm excited that we can at least see part way out. I was wondering if we were going to be able to do that, and we can. So excited. We have our chairs set up. We're going to spend a lot of time outside in the next 3 days, unless of course it storms. Anyway, wanted to share with you.
When we were coming in on Saturday, we didn't quite know where we were going to go. Like even 10 or 15 minutes before we got here, we were still trying to figure out, where do you go? And
there wasn't a lot of information online.
It's
there
sort
was
of
a
like,
little bit.
right, like
much.
what people have written here and there, but it's not like you don't really Google map it, although it does show up on Google Maps once you know what you're looking for. And so I thought it would be helpful to just say how we found the place. We came in off of 90, I think it is, took 240. So basically you go to Wall, South Dakota, and you
Turn
go
south.
south on 240, and you go several miles. There's a north entrance, and then there's a south entrance. We just came to the south entrance and found a spot, like the second place we looked at, and it was the right call. Although next time we're going to go up a little bit further. We'll have another spot that we think will be good next time. But the south entrance was the right way to do it. It's not a bad entrance.
It's next to, so when you're going down 240, you go about 6 miles and you turn left, right at 2 radio towers that are there.
There's one radio tower on your right as you're coming in. Skip that one, go to the next one. There's 2 on your left. And so we're not far from the radio towers and the entrance out to 240.
We can see it from here.
Yeah. And so you turn into this single lane thing. You go over a cattle guard. It doesn't feel like you're supposed to be there, other than we could see a ton of campers out here. So
yeah, you can see the ridge from 240. And so you once we got out here, we kind of understood what we were doing, but still coming down that, it's a one-way dirt road that when we were coming in, a truck pulled over real kindly for us and let us go through. At the time, we didn't really know anything about it. Now we understand that down there at the entrance anyway, it's a one-way. Up here, it's easy to get around. The road that we park on, the rim, is actually pretty wide, and so that's not scary.
What we discovered talking to different people, for a lot of people, this is their first time here too. So everyone's kind of figuring it out. We came in, at least I was thinking, oh, what's everyone else doing? They must know what to do, but I think we all just sort of made it up.
Yeah.
There's some talk that they're going to be eliminating the ability to camp right next to the cliff.
We don't know. That's
yeah, like
all.
it's like it might just be scuttlebutt, but that's what we're hearing. But for the meantime, we camped right next to the cliff. So what are we doing?
Shopping, spending money on things we really don't need, but that's
Like what?
you do.
What did we get?
We got some shirts and some hats.
What kind of shirts?
Harley.
Of course. What kind of hats?
Summertime cowboy hats. We're learning as we go that that's a thing. He just pooped and stepped in it.
No!
And I have to carry him.
Today we're on the wall. Been on the wall. And just this incredible view. Just incredible. We've just been hanging out here, and I was here by Harvey, and I looked over. There was a bighorn sheep. I went over, and there was actually a guy who sat down next to it, or sat down near it, and I walked up within probably 8 feet of him. Very cool. We're out here in wildlife, and while I was down the road talking to him, then I looked up here, and there was actually a bighorn sheep. 2 of them were coming up from this way, and they walked right up here, right there, and they walked down into is this called a canyon? I don't know. Down into that thing. They walked down in there, and they just perched right on that little grassy knoll. I don't know if it's called a grassy knoll, but they perched right there. They just laid down, plopped down and laid there. No care in the world. Then we were sitting out here. We've just been sitting outside here for a couple hours probably. And you can hear coyotes doing their thing off in the distance. Didn't know what it was. Guessed it was coyotes. Pulled up a YouTube. And yep, the same thing. Very cool. There's coyotes out here apparently hunting as they do. And so we're watching Francois, making sure he doesn't become dinner. But man, it's so cool out here. If you ever have the chance to come out to the wall, South Dakota, we'll put it down there. Buffalo something. So cool.
We had a storm.
Awful storm.
It was actually scarier than the Ohio storm. If you caught our video on that was kind of scary too. But this one was different, probably because we were sitting on the edge of a canyon.
Yeah. The Ohio one, we were
winds-
like in a campground.
We could have easily
others,
went to the bathrooms,
right.
to hide out, that kind of thing. This one, we had nowhere to go other than our truck, and that was a possibility. But it was just intimidating. We weren't going anywhere, but it was intimidating, and there were tiny little campers all around us, like little pop-up tents, even tents. Actually, I'm not sure if the tents stayed.
I don't think there were any tents, but there were like
night.
pop-up campers.
Yeah.
That actually rode it out. You couldn't see them because it was pitch black out here.
But they were still here this morning.
They were still here in the
said
morning.
That they weathered it fine. It was a little scary.
And I'm thinking that I want to get a wind meter, wind gauge for the top, just so we know what's going on. When you're in there, it all sounds so bad. We were checking the weather channels and stuff on our phones, and it was saying that the wind was 16, 17, 18 miles an hour, which isn't bad. Like, that's just constant. But the gusts, I saw this morning on one thing that there was some gusts measured up to 34 miles per hour.
Seemed worse.
Well,
and also we are not in Wall, and a lot of that information is coming from Wall, and we're 6 miles south of that.
we think that it's coming from Wall. Like, some of it's coming from Rapid City. So like, we don't know quite. Last night when we went to bed, it was stormy, it was rainy and all that. Finally, it died down enough that we went to bed. But it got bad again a little bit during the night. And then in the morning, Wendy got up and opened up the windows, and I did too a little bit. But then when I got up at like 6, the sun came up at 5:30, and I got up at 6. So last night, the wind was blowing up from the canyon against us. So at least if it blew us over, it would be away from the canyon. This morning, it was blowing toward the canyon, and that's just unsettling. Although it sort of felt like, well, we could see there was no rain involved, no hail. And if it pushed us over, like, you could sort of watch what was happening and stuff. And so And I think just because we had experienced it already, it wasn't as scary.
Right.
I think. So that was our survival story.
So this is right outside our camper. A bunch of cows.
Francis doesn't even realize they're there.
Also, there's a lot more flies right now because of these cows.
There's some calves. Over there, there's little baby cows.
Aww. Getting ready to go for a walk, and we see all these cows. They're moving away from us. I don't think they like us. Going on a walk today. This is another view from right down the road.
We're walking along and we realize that this right here, this area, is probably the beautiful spot. Like we love our spot. We're over there. See if I can get us in it. I think if you find the towers, and we are right there, I think. And that's beautiful. We get to look out over all that, but we're thinking if we were to come this way, even though the decline is quite a bit, I think we could work that up, work it out. And then we could go out and do sea-racy things like what Wendy and Francois are doing right now. Over this way, grasslands. This would be the beautiful spot. I think we're going to try this next time we come here. I have no idea if we can capture this, but we just noticed there is a fence, cattle fence that goes all the way. So it's like, yeah, you can sort of see it if you know that's a fence. It goes all the way out there. And that was like actually containing the cattle that we were videoing. That's the fence. Goes all the way out there. I hope this is not where we say, and they never heard from them again. That'd be awful. Somewhere out here is Wenda and Francois. We'll see where they went. Like, I mean, it's down every way, but I guess it's also down that way. Glad I got my trusty walking stick. Hey, Francois, do you even understand? He has no idea. Oh, let's go down there. Let's not. Everything has its limits. And there we are.
But basically, we just wanted you to know that if you've never done it before, try it. It was on my bucket list, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. We had no problem with our solar, batteries, all that. We stayed at, we never got below 90%, I think, just because we have a pretty decent system for being able to dry camp. But don't be afraid to come up here. It's not as intimidating once you're up here. We didn't even know where it was. It was like I heard about the wall and I tried to research it.
Well, we were trying to decide, is the wall the same thing as wall?
Yeah.
And so we were making all these jokes. We're going to the wall, you know, wall drug. And it turns out it is basically wall.
It's not very far from wall drug. But do it. I highly recommend it.
And so the way you found it, if you just Google Badlands Dispersed Camping, South
Buffalo
Dakota,
Gap. Yeah.
Buffalo Gap,
You'll
those
get
sorts of things, you'll see it. And then if you pull up on Google Maps, it actually shows pinpoints of camping areas, disbursement camping areas. No need to be afraid of it.
Oh, we did decide that if you want to come, it's best to come, like I'm thinking, on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. We're leaving here on Tuesday, and it's like cleared out. Most people are gone. Over the weekend, it was definitely a lot more people here. We came in on Saturday. So if you can plan it during the week, you'll have a more options for sites. And don't feel like you have to take the first one you see.
Right.
If you're in a big rig, like a motorhome towing a car, it really wouldn't hurt to unhook and then drive your car around. That's what a couple people did to try and find a spot. Big rigs is a little bit harder, but you would never get caught, because even if you decided to check out every single campsite, you could go all the way down to the north side, go back out and come around again. So you won't get stuck. You're not going to get stuck.
It is a bit unsettling toward the north when you're going north on this back road thing. You come up over some hills that you can't see where it's going, so you both sort of sit up and look over.
Right. On a motorcycle would have been really scary.
But the one, I think it's the last one, it's quite a slope.
Campers do it.
Yeah, campers do it. We're choosing not to, which is sort of the next thing we're going to do here. I'm planning on backing like turning around, doing a 5-point turn here or whatever. And so pulling forward, backing up this way and going back out the way we came.
We'll see how that goes.
What I hope is that I don't drop off the
You're
cliff.
not going to drop off the cliff.
I plan on not.
Yeah, we're going to try really hard not to. That would ruin our
That
day.
would ruin the whole day.
The day would be ruined. Yep.
This wraps up our video of being at the Badlands, dispersed camping.
Yep.
And
hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, what a joy to be able to do it.
Like, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.